Welcome back to my channel. My name is 24K. If you're new here, hey, I am going to go ahead and tell you guys my story, my personal journey, but I want to give a disclaimer. First, I am not a doctor. I'm not a physician. I cannot diagnose. So if this is something that you feel like you're dealing with, or you think someone else, is dealing with this, I suggest that you see a physician. I don't want to bash anybody. I'm just telling my own personal story because it's my story to tell. I want to do this for anyone who is going through this or has gone through this or knows someone who's going through this. Hopefully my story is going to make you feel like you're not so alone. Or if any of my experiences sound like something that you have experienced so that you don't feel alone. Also, I do plan on doing a couple videos after this. I don't want to make this a very long video because it's, some people's attention span. So please leave a comment down in the comment section if there's anything that you want me to expand as far as, talk about, go more in depth about. If that's something that you want, let me know. Yeah, so that is it. Let's go ahead and get to the video. So I guess I'll start with when my cycle started. I started at 12 years old. I do remember being in school, and I remember there was a certain parent that came in to talk to the girls about it. I think we had like maybe 2 meetings or 2 or 3, I guess, discussing it or something like that. I don't remember, but I just remember thinking, oh, I can't wait for that. My first cycle started at school in the lunch line. Yeah. In the lunch line. I remember I got this horrible cramp in my abdomen area, and I remember I grabbed my abdomen and I fell to the ground, and I was kind of in a ball, and it was like the most crazy. I didn't even know what to think. I remember asking God, was this it? Was this how I was gonna, how 12? I was 12. It was this dull but sharp, strong, intense, aching pain that just won't go away. It's not like, oh, it starts and then it goes away. Oh, it was just like intense, and it's like there's no break in between. It's just going. And as I got older, a doctor compared it to, which a couple doctors have compared it to, labor pains. So you can imagine what that is, for it to be going on like that all the time, every month. Yeah, that's something that's supposed to happen when you're in labor. The only other time that I remember ever feeling that way was a year prior to. I had a really sharp, that same type of pain that lasted for maybe 30 minutes. I remember I was walking home and I felt that horrible pain. I've done research, and they usually say with endometriosis, it usually starts maybe a year before the first start of the cycle, but that is just my research. Also, please keep in mind, I am not a doctor, so I can't diagnose anything, nor can I say this symptom means this. I'm just explaining my story. So yeah, that happened, and I remember once, it's like it came in like a rush and then it left like a rush. And chances are that was because I prayed. I was like, God, don't let it end like this, because I had never experienced that. I remember thinking to myself, will a teacher come? Is somebody gonna come help me? Like, nobody sees me. And the kids, like the ones that were behind me in line, they just kind of just went around me and went on about their business. Later on that day, I got home, and that's when I realized I started my cycle. I remember I was like, Mom, I think and she was like, congratulations. And I was like, yeah. I had mixed feelings about it because, I was excited because that was something that I was looking forward to. And only because, I don't know, I was a little kooky. They came in and talked to us about it, so I guess I figured it was something special, which it is. Definitely, a cycle is definitely very special. But I don't know, I had mixed feelings. I was like, yay, but yeah, is that something that I'm gonna have to deal with every single time? So my mom, she taught me, how to count it, like every how many days or whatever. And I would get anxiety when I knew it was coming. Like days or a week prior to, I would start to get like anxiety because that pain was bad. Yeah. I don't want to put in any names because it's just not necessary. This is just a recollection of my personal story. My intentions are not to bash anybody, any doctor, anyone. If someone gets offended, I don't know. Just know that that's not my intention. Dr. A, he was my first gynecologist. I went to him because he was my mom's gynecologist, and he was a nice guy, a very nice guy. You could tell he was very traditional and very religious. Um, but you know, it was what it was. But for him, the first one was, you know, just continue to take, you know, Advil, Aleve, or, you know, basically an NSAID, and, you know, just hurry up. You know, once you graduate high school, hurry up and get married and have kids, because that's gonna, you know, make the pain go away. If you know anything about endometriosis, that's like a very, very old school way of thinking. And it's kind of interesting. He was an older doctor. I don't want to say he was a very old person. He was an older doctor. So I'm not surprised that he had those theories. Looking back now, he was very successful, very renowned, like very known. But that's just, you know, that's what he had for me. So he suggested to my mother, because, you know, she told her my cramps were extremely horrible. And his suggestion was a week or two prior to my cycle to start taking Advil, Aleve, or, you know, NSAID, basically Advil, Aleve, or ibuprofen, which they're all the same. But that thing didn't help because, you know, it just didn't. Alone, it didn't. There are very few specialists. There's very little information. It's usually the same information, and those are theories. At least the last time I checked, especially when I was in school, you know, these are theories. They're not science-based facts. So for him to say that me having a child, or her, you know, having a kid was going to fix the issue, that was very, that was very much of an umbrella cure. And so obviously that probably worked for maybe one or two of his patients. But now, fast forward here, now in 2021, there are a lot of women, in a lot of cases, who it doesn't help. It may, like, maybe right after they have a child, it'll be good for maybe about a month or two, and then it goes right back to where it was, or it just didn't help at all. So that was all I had. But I was 12 years old, so I was sitting there thinking, okay, this is going to be for a while, because I'm 12. I have no intention on getting married and having a child anytime soon. Yeah. But I will say that that was added pressure onto me that kind of stuck with me. Not to say that I wanted to hurry up and get married and have kids. I had no intention on having kids at any time around 12 years old. Like, I just didn't. I was like, ain't nobody finna do that. Like, no one's gonna do that. And even, I don't know. Like, I had every intention on eventually going to college, and, you know, now the details I ain't know, but even my mother, she was very adamant that I was going to go to college. So, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure how that was going to work. There were some times where I would go in, you know, in between, you know, a yearly pep smear, and just be like, hey, these cramps are a killer. Like, you ain't got nothing for me? Like, because I was so confused as to what the heck was happening. Like, I'm looking at everybody else, and nobody else is going through what I'm going through. Like, can we talk about this? And the only thing he had for me was to continue to take ibuprofen, naproxen. I remember listening to other girls when I would hear them talking about a cycle, like, my ears would go up, because I was like, yo, I can't be the only person dealing with this. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I remember being like 12, 13 years old, like, this is ridiculous. Like, does nobody else go through this? Like, are they, like, hiding it? Because they must be hiding it. I hollered when I was in pain, but but when people come around, you know, you bite your tongue, you kind of take a deep breath, you know. Yeah, so I would listen to other girls talk about it, and I think I remember asking once or twice, you know, how bad are your cramps? You know, they're like, oh, it's okay, you know, I just gotta take an Advil, or I'll take a Tylenol. Now, Tylenol was like the worst at that time, especially at that age. That's not that wasn't a good idea for me. I would have to get escorted to the nurse's office whenever I would start, and I was at school, or if it was too much for me to handle, because at that age my mom wasn't giving me any pills to just hold on to, you know, and you couldn't even do that at that time. Especially, I don't even know what they do now, but in elementary school, like, you're not holding on to no Advil or nothing in your pocket. Give that up. Go to the nurse. So, so that's where I would get it. There was a incident where I remember I was in so much pain, and I started to walk myself down there, and halfway there, like, I had to hold on to the wall because, like, it was so bad I almost fell over. Like, during that time, I would vomit, headaches, dizziness, fainting, um, the extra bleeding, clots, um, all that. I had all that. I remember one time, I think it was after school, I had been in the office that whole day, the nurse's office that whole day, and when the bell rung, I had to jump up, because it was super loud in the nurse's office. But I remember thinking, oh my God, because I walked home, so I didn't want to walk by myself, so I remember like jumping up and kind of making my way out to try to go get my stuff really, really fast so I could walk home with my friends. And I remember I got my stuff, and like, my stomach was just, yeah, it was just, I just didn't feel good at all. And I remember I got outside, and I remember I threw up, like, right in front of the school, like on the side. It was hidden a little bit, but yeah, and it was so embarrassing. Like, it was just so embarrassing. Let not a boy come up and ask you if you okay. I'm all right. I'm cool. I didn't want anyone to know, what was wrong with me. I didn't want anyone to know because that's super embarrassing. But, the nurse would just give me what she had to give me and just be like, lay down over there. Sometimes she'll get me a little blanket and just cover me. And baby, I would sleep. And I think that's where I kind of started to use sleeping as a coping mechanism. Because, it's easy. You take your medicine, go to sleep, and wait for that medicine to work, hoping that when you wake up, it'll work. And sometimes it did, and sometimes it didn't. But, yeah, definitely a coping mechanism. Now that I look back at it, I can point that out. Extra bleeding was so bad that it was like, that's when I learned that wings on pads were my best friend. A maxi pad wasn't gonna do it because you'll have accidents, and that's just so traumatizing as a child to have to deal with that. And I remember one time I went to the bathroom, and I was in that stall, I think, for about an hour. The nurse had to come in and check on me, Like, I think one time I kind of fell asleep in the bathroom stall. Like, I don't know. It was just, it was just so embarrassing. So very, very, very embarrassing. And on top of you being hurt, you being in pain, and it was just like, I just didn't know what to do. I kind of just thought, okay, when I get older, it'll stop, but unfortunately, that's not what happened. So that was extremely stressful for me, especially, knowing that the doctor is telling me that the only way I'll have relief from this pain is if I have a baby, and I'm 12. Ain't nobody thinking about having a baby. I think I said that before, and I was just like, it was frustrating. I felt very lonely, because I didn't feel like there was anybody who understood what I was going through at that time. There was no YouTube. If you wanted to know something about a disorder or something, you asked your doctor. Like, I'm not that old, you know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy how times change really, really fast. Out of a month, I would probably have 2 weeks out that month where I was straight, and then the other 2, I was thinking about the pain that I was about to endure. Thinking about, like, where am I? Do I have enough pads on me? Do I have enough pads on me? Do I have possibly a change of underwear? Do I have, probably something to wear just in case I bleed out of it? Or did I have enough Advil? Like, was I going to run out? Do I need to take more? Am I going to take enough? Like, if I take one more, it was just too much, especially for that age. That's just what it was. So fast forward, same doctor, Dr. A, we're still on Dr. A. He is telling me that I need to do a laparoscopy. At that time, I didn't understand what he was saying. Basically, what a laparoscopy is, it's a diagnostic procedure. They put you to sleep like a surgery, and they go in, your abdomen, and they just try to see, it's like a look-see, you know, see if there's anything wrong, if there's any cysts, fibroids, endometriosis that needs to be taken care of. And if there is not, it's done. They wake you up, you know. If there is, then they go in and do what they have to do. So obviously there was endometriosis there. I do have my doctor's notes. I probably should have gone through and reviewed Dr. A's notes, because later on in my life I went back and I got my records, because I just was curious to see what was going on, because as time went by, there was a lot more issues going on with me. That was my very first surgery. I had never had surgery ever. I was 21. I just really wanted to just focus on my career. I wanted to just go to school, get a career, and then think about all that later. But I felt like endometriosis was forcing me to rush through things. When it comes to life, you look at someone and you think their life is perfect, but everybody is given something different. You know, this person may have what you want, but there's other things going on in their life that you don't want. So just be happy with where you are. I was young then, so but I just felt like I was being rushed, because of course I'm still seeing that same doctor and that's all he's got for me. He did the procedure where he, you know, basically cleaned up the endometriosis that he saw, and you know, we moved on. And now he's like, you should be getting married now. You should be having children. And you guys, I don't know about where you were in life. Everybody's journey in life is different, but I felt very pressured to get married, pressure to have children at that time, because you know, there's this fear that my fertility window was like this at 21. You get the questions because, you know, people know that this is what I'm going through. And I'm like, who am I supposed to marry? Around that time, there was nobody that I dated, talked to on the phone that I would have ever wanted to marry. Not one. Not one. And if I did, it would have been a pure disaster over, you know, being rushed. So I'm going to stop here with the video. I hope you guys stay tuned for the next video. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, or if you want me to continue with the story. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you can know when I upload. Let me know what you think, if you've experienced anything like that. If you know anybody who's going through something like that, let's talk about it down in the comment section. As always, I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.